This is it. This is the premiere of Season 10 of Hardwood Heroes. I'm Paul Roth, and I will be serving as your host for the next 8 weeks, and I am so honored to journey along with you all. But enough of that. It's time to get started. Find out who was dropping dimes, who was making it rain, and who got put on skates. We got it all tonight on Hardwood Heroes. We got a lot of action for you tonight as our reporters have been running out to games all season long, and there's still a lot of questions to be answered. Are the Lady Vikings still running the table in the Ohio? Did a long football season hinder the Tomcats? And will the Athens boys ever lose again? But before we get into all that, we have to take a look at where everybody is in the standings. So first up, let's take a look at the boys of the Ohio. Leading the pack is the Athens Bulldogs, who are undefeated in conference play and have just 3 losses on the season. Right on the Bulldogs' tail is Alexander at second place and just 1 conference loss. And rounding out the top 3 is Vinton County. Meigs and Nelsonville York finish out the top 5, while Weston and River Valley round out the standings. Now on the girls' side of things, Vinton County taking the top spot unblemished, a perfect 13-0 on the year. Next up is Alexander, whose only loss is that undefeated Vikings team. Meigs is next up at 3rd in the standings as the Marauders are still in the thick of it, just 2 conference losses so far. And rounding up the top 5 is Nelsonville York and Wellston. And finishing up the standings is Athens and River Valley. Now over in the boys' side of the Hocking, the top looks the same as it did at the end of the last season, with Trimble on top and Waterford close behind. After that, South Gallia is with just 2 conference losses, and rounding out the top 4 is the Eastern Eagles, who just pick up a huge win over Trimble. Belpre is sitting at 5th in the Hocking and Southern at 6th, while Federal Hocking, Wahama, and Miller round out the bottom of the standings. On the girls' side of things, Waterford is still looking good. They take the top spot, and just behind them is Eastern with only 1 conference loss. Rounding out the top 4 is Belpre and Wahama. And on the bottom half is Federal Hocking at 5 and Miller at 6, and rounding out the bottom 3 is South Gallia, Trimble, and Southern. But right down the road, the boys in the Plains are cooking to start the season. Athens reporter Thomas Garvik joins me now to talk about the first-place Bulldogs.
And Paul, it's only fitting that we start the show with one of the hottest teams in our coverage. Before losing to Warren on Friday, the Bulldogs won 8 straight games, including a 6-0 start in TVC Ohio play, running roughshod through the conference early on.
No surprise there. This was a team coming into the year as one of the favorites in the Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, a great guard duo of Logan Maxfield and Elijah Williams, combined with Eli Chubb's stroke from the outside. Plus, you add Isaiah Butcher's presence inside. This team can beat you from any position on the floor.
Well, when you've got that much talent, it's easy to see why you're top of the class.
The Bulldogs are also first class too, Paul. Tuesday night's game against Wellston was all about the hashtag Turn It Gold fundraiser, an organization used to raise money to help find a cure for children battling cancer.
It's really amazing to see how much people are grabbing onto this and going with it. It's such an amazing thing to do for pediatric cancer, so it's kids and that's the future, so it means a lot to see so many people grabbing onto it.
Paul, the Bulldogs, they raised over $2,000 for the fundraiser, and I myself decided to chip in because I saw this super awesome bracelet that says, "I dare you to turn it gold."
Yeah, man, that's awesome. You always love to see when things are bigger than basketball.
Absolutely. It's not just about what you do on the floor, but what you do off of it too.
Well, on the floor, though, the Lady Bulldogs have quietly strung together some wins, too.
Yeah, the Lady Bulldogs find themselves winners of their last 4 games, and their latest win was by no means easy.
Now, define not easy for me, Tom.
Not easy in the sense that it felt like there were 2 different Lady Bulldog teams out there against River Valley. Paul, this game was crazy. Athens scored the first 14 points of the game and looked great. Next 2 quarters, they played hot potato with the ball and struggled to score. The Lady Raiders then proceed to go on a 34-12 run. Then over the final 10 minutes of the game, Athens goes on a 22-0 run to win the game.
Wow, I mean, you can't write this kind of stuff.
Right, I mean, a tale of 2 games for the Lady Bulldogs because of their struggles in their half-court offense.
That's something the last few games has been really, really well, and I expected that to carry over tonight. Unfortunately, it didn't. We got careless with the ball there in the second quarter when they made the run. I'm not sure how many turnovers we finished the game with, but we got careless with that. We've just got to make better decisions. That's the decision-making is the big thing.
So early on in the season, still some work to be done for the Lady Bulldogs.
Nonetheless, things in the Plains are looking great, and it's a good start to the year for them. Great having you on, Tommy. Now, one of my favorite forms of social media is Snapchat, and if you love TVC basketball, then there's none better than ours. It's the quickest way we can get video and highlights out to you all, and we also feature a lot of behind the scenes looks at how we put the show together. Plus, send us a snap while you're at the game, and it could be featured on the show that weekend. Now, out in Albany, both the girls and boys are off to a terrific starts to their seasons. Alexander reporter Anthony Marino is here with me on desk to discuss the success of these two teams.
Yeah, Paul, both these teams hit the ground running, but let's start off with the Lady Spartans. They are currently 12-1 overall and 5-1 in conference. That only loss was a conference rival Vinton County back on December 6th. Since then, they rattled off not 5, not 7, but 9 consecutive wins, including a conference win against Nelsonville York this past Thursday.
Well, it's not easy to win 9 games in a row, So what's been the key to the Lady Spartans' success?
It's the senior class of players combined with solid minutes from underclassmen. That senior core of players, consisting of Rachel Richardson, McKenna Rice, Cindy Bowling, and Jade Allison, are the leaders of this team. But strong minutes from underclassmen is what really makes this team hard to beat.
We have seniors in Rachel and Kenna that are out there on the floor leading us, and we just have to have a good, strong supporting cast around them. Kids that's going to work hard and play harder than anybody we play. And that's what we ask out of every kid. The ones on the bench, the ones on the floor, no one's going to play harder than us.
Now, Anthony, obviously they've been playing great as of late, but do you really believe these Lady Spartans are a true contender to win the Ohio?
Oh, they're major contenders to win the Ohio. They only have 1 loss, and their conference wins have been in dominating fashion. They have the chemistry and the talent to make a run at the title. The Lady Spartans will host River Valley on Monday, then travel to Vinton County, and hopefully they'll get a little bit of redemption in the previous loss on December 6th.
Now, okay, we've heard about the girls. Let's switch over to the boys. They've had just as good of a start. What's been the keys to success for 4th-year head coach Jim Kearns and his Spartan team?
Well, Paul, good start, Paul. How about great start? The boys are currently 9-1 overall and 5-1 in conference. They started off the season on a 6-game winning streak before losing to Athens on December 21st. The Spartans are a young team with only 3 seniors. That means underclassmen are going to be forced to step up into big roles, and they have. One player that has stepped into a big role has been junior point guard J.K. Kearns. Coach Jim Kearns has said that he molded into a leader for the Spartan team as well. The team that they have, they can spread the floor with the roster. The perimeter shooters like Dylan Meckham, Cameron Riley, and J.K. Kearns, combined with a strong presence of 6'3" Stone Markins Irwin and 6'8" Caleb Terry in the paint, makes this team tough to beat. Having a strong starting 5 with a bench that gives you solid minutes is the reason why this team only has 1 loss. It's a tight race for first place in the TVC Ohio for both the girls and the boys, so I'm really excited to see if they can close the gap.
Yeah, Anthony, they certainly have a good shot at it. Good work. Now, Alexander is the 2nd place team in the Ohio, but over in the Hocking, Eastern takes that spot. With me now is Eastern lead reporter Branton Monty to tell us how the Lady Eagles got there.
Well, thank you, Paul. The Eastern Lady Eagles have used a physical brand of defense to propel themselves to an 8-1 start in TVC Hocking play. Led by lead guards Jess Parker and Allison Bailey, Jacob Parker's Lady Eagles have surrendered just 36 points per game in conference play this season, which is good for 2nd in the TVC Hocking.
With how good their defense has been, how has that helped spark them offensively?
It certainly has helped them, Paul. Their smothering defense has forced their opponents to make several turnovers, which in turn leads to easy transition baskets.
Well, Eastern has been hot as of late, so what is their outlook going forward as they try to keep it going?
Well, as I mentioned, Paul, Eastern is currently in 2nd in the conference, and they sit just 1 game behind Waterford in the TVC Hocking after losing to Waterford back on December 28th. The Lady Eagles have been scorching, though, to start the new year. They've rallied off 3 consecutive victories to begin 2019. But, Paul, they can't get too comfortable. On Monday, Eastern will welcome conference foe Belpre to town as the Lady Golden Eagles sit just a game behind Eastern in the standings. Eastern won the first matchup by 15, so both teams should come out swinging in this high-stakes matchup. On the boys' side, the Eagles have seen significant improvement from last year under first-year head coach David Kite. On the year, the Eagles stand at 6-3 with a 4-2 record in conference play. The Eagles had a big matchup against undefeated Trimble Friday, looking to pull within 1 game of the conference lead against the TVC Hocking leading Tomcats. For most of the first half, the Tomcats were in control of this one. It was a defensive slugfest through the 1st and 2nd quarters. There were several hard fouls, and emotions ran wild as the Tomcats took a lead into halftime.
How did things change in the second half?
Well, in the second half, the Tomcats led at half, but the second half was all Eagles. David Kite's squad picked things up offensively in the second half as the Eagles pulled away to end the Tomcats' perfect season by a final score of 57-43. This was a major victory for David Kite and a huge momentum shift in the Eagles' season. This Eagles team has made great strides from last year. The offense has looked very fluent so far, especially when they blew out Ohio Valley Christian 77-35 on Tuesday. Paul, the Eagles will certainly get a confidence boost after such a big victory against a talented Tomcat squad.
Well, we'll see if the Eagles can keep this momentum going forward. Thank you, Brandon. Now, we all love doing this show, and we hope you guys enjoy it too. But sadly, we only have 30 minutes once a week. So how can you get your fix in for TVC basketball highlights? Well, over on our YouTube page, of course. We will be posting highlights and game recaps throughout the week for you, so stay up to date with our midweek content. Now, staying in the Hocking, the federal Hocking Lancers have had a tough start to their season, but reporter Will Collins is here to break down how they can turn it around.
On both the boys and girls squads, there have been some hard times recently, but Paul, I'll say this. It's never too late for both teams to have productive seasons. To make it plain, in order to have a successful season, the Lancers need to play a full 4 quarters. These boys have been in plenty of games so far this season, but they haven't been able to come through in the final minutes so far. They started their season with 8 straight losses, but now they have won 2 of their last 3 and are starting to finish their games. Their first victory came on their January 4th matchup with Eastern 50-42, and after dropping a game to Trimble the next day, they found themselves back in the win column for the second time when they beat Wahama by 5, 59-54 on January 8th.
Now, besides playing complete games, what else do the Lancers need to do to find success this season?
This answer lies in the team's philosophy, Paul. Coach Jonathan Thompson told me earlier this season that he is trying to instill a culture of discipline in his team from their very first practice. He said that he and his staff have done their best to get their players to buy into their team and their program. An added plus to this team is that Brad Russell and Hunter Smith are back leading this team and their host of young players.
So you said the boys started slow, but they are trending upwards. What about the Lady Lancers?
Well, the Lady Lancers have had a bit of a different start to their season this season. They're not at quite the same place they were last season. They're sitting at 5th in the conference with a 4-8 record currently. The girls did return 3 big players to their lineup in Paige Tolson, Emma Beha, and Kylie Tabler, and have been close in some games this year, including a last-second overtime loss to the Trimble Lady Tomcats, but they haven't been able to finish games like they did last season.
So what can they do to get back into rhythm this season?
The Lady Lancers need to trust in their offensive capabilities. They haven't been able to score. They have the ability to score, should I say. Paige Tolson and Kylie Tabler have been able to shoot efficiently from the field, and Emma Beha has done well in the paint. According to girls head coach Jeremy Tolson, they need to settle in early in games and not rush themselves. They want to play at a tempo, but they don't want to get ahead of themselves early. They have played well in defense and want to become more consistent overall. They're on a 2-game win streak, so the girls may be on the rise. Looking forward to this week, the boys go on to play Miller, and the girls will take on South Gallia, looking for their 3rd win in a row.
Will, thanks for catching us up to speed on everything Fed Hawk. Now I want to feed the big man. We have Meg's lead reporter Joseph Hennessy in the paint. And Joe, I hear the Meg's girls got themselves a 1,000-point scorer this season.
Yes, they do. And we went to Meg's High School this past week to talk to 2 players on the team that just happened to be best friends. The milestone was one that they both won't forget.
Cassy Benson became the 5th 1,000-point scorer ever as a Marauder at the end of December. But there is another player on her team with a comparable work ethic and drive. And the 2 of them know life is more than just basketball.
We became best friends in like 7th grade.
7th grade.
Yeah.
We went boating together.
Yeah. We have campsites like right beside each other, so we just like hang out on the river together.
The friendship didn't exactly get off to a great start though.
We knew about each other, but
we were rivals back then.
Yeah. We did not like each other at all. Yeah.
When talking about the 1,000-point milestone, both of them were proud of Betsing's accomplishment. It just took one of them a little longer to realize what just happened.
Honestly, I think I was the only one that
didn't know. I didn't tell her.
know that she was that close.
Like, what happened?
What's
like,
going on?
What's happening? I'm like, bro, I just kind of scored 1,000 points. She's like, oh my God. What?
Cassidy is going to Ohio University for track and field. Taylor's going to West Virginia Wesleyan for softball, but they will still be connected. Both schools' mascot, a bobcat.
Bobcats.
Yeah.
We'll be cheering for each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's that kind of chemistry, Joe, that really helps the team as a whole. Great stuff. But now on to the boys. They're below 500, but you say their record is not a true reflection of their play?
Yeah, they sit at 6-7 on the year and 3-3 in TVC Ohio play, but exactly, they are playing good basketball, just haven't closed out a couple of games. They have been playing great competition, though, and that'll set them up in the playoffs. They played Whitehall Yearling, which is a Division I team, and lost to them on a buzzer beater in overtime, and they beat a Division II school, Morgan, by 10, and they were led by Bear with 22 points.
And Meigs was in it with Athens, who, as Tommy mentioned earlier, is on top of the TVC Ohio.
They just couldn't close out the fourth, but yes, they had the Bulldogs on their toes. When playing together, they could beat anyone in the conference. They have Weston Bear, who can score with ease. He dropped 30 and went 6 of 7 from three-point land against Nelsonville York, and 31 against River Valley on Friday in a 51-point win. Zach Bartram isn't afraid to get down low, even as the point guard. Nick Lilly and freshman Coulter Cleland are contributing as well. And when all of them are playing together, the passing is beautiful and the ball goes in the hoop. Potential is there. They just have to tighten up the screws a little more before February and March comes around and get things rolling.
Well, the Meigs boys and girls are at the middle of the pack in the TVC Ohio, but excited to see what we can talk about next week. Thanks, Joe. Here's a hypothetical. You ever had to miss a game but had no place to find updates on it? Well, worry no longer, because we got you covered. Head on over to our Twitter account @HardwoodHeroes and give us a follow. It is the place to be if you want mid-game updates and final scores. Plus, you can tweet at us as well, and we may feature your tweet on the show that weekend. Now it's time to hop back on the 33 West and head to Nelsonville. With me now is Nelsonville lead reporter J.L. Curvin to tell us what's going on with the Buckeyes.
Paul, it was a rough week for NY, but the Buckeyes are resilient. Yet with both teams hovering 500, each need to make statements in the coming weeks. Now let's start with the boys, to which their season could be summed up with one word: improvement. Coach Jamie Justice is doing good work in his second year at the helm, and the Buckeyes sit at 5-8 and 2-4 record in the TVC Ohio. But there's more than meets the eye when it comes to the Buckeyes record.
Well, how do you figure?
Well, after starting the year on a 3-game winning streak, the Buckeyes have struggled to put together another one. But take away a 3-point loss to Athens and a 1-point loss to Vinton County, and we could be talking about the Buckeyes being in the mix for the top spot in the TVC Ohio.
You might be onto something there, Jerry.
But unfortunately for the Buckeyes, that's just a hypothetical. And the reality is they were blown out in 2 critical conference games this week. Nelsonville York fell to Meigs 83-61 on Tuesday and ended the week with a home loss to Alexander. Now in a Buckeye world, the Buckeyes would have a win over the defending champs and the conference leader. But the truth is, the Buckeyes are slipping in the TVC standings and could certainly use some momentum moving forward.
All right, now let's transition to the Lady Buckeyes. It's never easy to replace an 1,000-point scorer, especially one as well-rounded as Jesse Addis.
No doubt, but how can you? But like I said, the Buckeyes are resilient, and in Nelsonville, they're making it work. They play a cohesive style of basketball, and despite lacking a dominant player, they are in the mix to make some noise in the division. Now, right now, it's clear who's running the TVC. Evidence to Nelsonville's 30-point loss to Alexander on Thursday and their loss to Vinton County 3 weeks ago. But I feel like the Lady Buckeyes could possibly be a dark horse this season, and they've calmed the waters and found ways to sneak into the winning column.
So with Addis gone, who's making the plays for the Lady Buckeyes?
To be honest, Paul, everybody does that thing on that court. Jocelyn Heller is dangerous from 3, Mary Kay McCullough is a very solid defender, and good luck trying to beat Haley Hurd out for a rebound. Now, Alexander and Vinton County are both playing special right now, but NY can certainly make its case for being that team that shocks some people in the second half of the season.
Well, it sounds like both the boys and girls in NY can hang their hats on being resilient in tough situations, but something special needs to happen if they hope to catch up in the TVC race. Thanks for the update, JL.
It ain't no problem. It ain't no problem.
From NY, let's head north to Gloucester and check in on those Trimble Tomcats. Trimble lead reporter Taylor Jedrzejek is with me now to recap the Tomcats' first month.
Well, Paul, last year at this time, the Lady Tomcats were only a couple days away from canceling their season. But this year, the girls from Trimble are not only playing, they're proving to be a tough opponent for every team they play. After starting their season with a 60-58 last-second win over Wellston, the Lady Tomcats dropped 5 straight. But only one of those, a 58-44 loss to TVC powerhouse Waterford, was by double digits. That 5-game skid was ended with a 36-31 victory over Southern in Racine. And the Lady Tomcats followed that up 3 days later with a 57-55 road win over Federal Hocking.
Well, they've definitely shown they ain't no pushover.
And pretty much, Paul. The team has also had its fair share of players that can contribute on the offensive end, but the scoring is being led by the duo of Emily Young and Laken Imler, who combined to score half of Trimble's 42 points per game. At this point, the Lady Tomcats may just be 3-11, but only 4 of those defeats have been by more than 8 points. Speaking to Lady Tomcats head coach Joe Richards earlier this week, he believes the close losses to be a result of mental lapses. He told me that there was one quarter in every game, particularly the third quarter in most, where his team has dropped their guard, and the deficits are just too much for the young team to overcome.
All right, now what about the boys? How have they done so far?
Well, Paul, I would say the boys up in Gloucester just don't know how to lose. Their season started 2 weeks late due to the title game run the football team made. But the 13 players that made the transition from the gridiron to the hardwood did not let that affect them. The Trimble boys are right now 7-1 and lead the Hocking 1 game ahead of Waterford.
That's impressive considering the late start. What's been the key to their success?
Paul, they simply find a way. They're not the biggest team, they're not the most athletic team, and they don't score a whole bunch of points, but they just play sound basketball at all levels. I think Coach Howie Caldwell says it best here.
The strongest thing that we have is we're probably as good a shape as anyone there is, and I think our defense is getting better. Not where we would like to have it be, but it's getting better. Our offense, Braden Weber has had to take over the point for us because Cameron is, hurt right now, and he's done a great job.
Coach mentioned Braden Weber there. Right now he's averaging over 20 points a game, and that includes a 28-point explosion against Waterford last week.
Well, he can certainly light it up, and it sounds like he's the guy going forward for this Tomcat team. Thanks, Taylor. Now, video is all fine and dandy, but maybe some of you are watching who are more into the written word. Well, if that's the case, then don't fret because we have written recaps for every game we attend. All you got to do is head over to woub.org/heroes and get to reading. We will have recaps posted the same night as games so you can relive it all again soon after. Now, a team you will see a lot of on our website is Vinton County. Tyler Corbett joins me on desk to talk Vikings hoops.
Yeah, Paul, two things are looking great right now. Vinton County and you in this polo, my man. That looks fresh on you. Now, Vinton County has won the last 3 titles in the conference for boys, but this is a completely different VC team than last year. Senior Eli Griffith is the only returning rotation player from last year's team, but this isn't a one-man show. Junior Gavin Arbaugh looks to join the ranks of elite VC guards with how he has played this year. He plays with a mixture of Tristan Bartow's athleticism and Jake Speakman's swagger. Each athletic bucket he scores leaves fans on their feet.
Who else has filled a new role for Vinton County?
Guard Ricky Bode has become one of the best sharpshooters in the conference. He knocked down 4 threes in the Vikings' 69-59 comeback win over River Valley. And Austin Height plays with infectious energy. He came off the bench and just completely took out River Valley's biggest offensive threat, Lane Fish. Coach Combs had high praise for Height.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade Austin Height for anybody. I mean, that kid comes to practice every day, he plays that hard in practice. What you see out here, that's what he does every day in practice. He's just been huge for us. I mean, just a lift all the time. It seems like when things are going bad, we put him in there, he makes something happen. So we're real proud of him.
Now, a team that needs no introduction are the Lady Vikings. Tyler, what have they been up to?
To put it simply, Paul, winning. They are a perfect 12-0 on the season, but much like the boys, this team doesn't have a wealth of experience.
Sounds like they got a lot of youngins.
Yeah, Paul, only 2 players in the starting 5 are old enough to have their driver's license. The team starts 3 freshmen, 1 sophomore, and 1 junior, but that young team keeps pouring it on opponents. They've done it this week and all year. They first beat Wheelersburg this week 80-39, then on Thursday took down conference rival Wellston 81-49.
Well, scoring clearly isn't an issue for them.
Paul, this team is just lethal. Against Wheelersburg, the Vikings broke the school record for 3-pointers in a game with 14. Yet somehow even bigger things happened in that game. Morgan Bentley had a game for the ages. The sophomore had a triple-double. Yes, a triple-double. She scored 17 points, grabbed 13 boards, and dished out 12 assists. Plus 2 freshmen led the team in scoring. Tegan Bartow dropped 23, while Cameron Zinn cruised in with a casual 20. And this has all been done without sophomore standout Mariah Davis, who suffered a season-ending injury 3 games into the season. Now, also, I have to give a shout-out to Josie Oosley, lockdown defender who does everything that doesn't show up in the scorebook and then some.
Well, Vinton County has shown a lot of grit. Thanks, Tyler. The Waterford Wildcats remain in the hunt for the TVC Hocking crown. Waterford lead reporter Connor Mills is here to catch us up to speed with the Wildcats.
Well, it seems like year after year, coaches Tom Sims and Jerry Close have their teams ready to compete for another conference title. Starting with the Lady Wildcats, after graduating an impactful senior class, some new faces have had to step up big. Picking right off where they left off, last season Waterford was atop the conference, and as of the taping of the show, earned a 9-1 record. With an early season injury to Rachel Adams, it was a full team effort to grind out each victory. Waterford started the season with 5 wins and have won their last 4 games. The only loss for the Lady Wildcats was against an out-of-conference opponent in Midford on December 22nd. Since then, Waterford has defeated every opponent by 15 or more points. When facing off the second-place Eastern Lady Eagles, Waterford won by 16 points and have proved themselves to be the team to beat yet again.
So do you think they have enough to put together another long postseason run?
Knowing Coach Close, he always finds a way to get his squad ready to go. As we're nearing a halfway point in the season, Waterford has 12 games remaining and have enough time to continue to improve and work their way back to being a state title caliber team.
Now the girls find themselves in a familiar spot. How have the guys been so far?
The guys so far, 7-3 record, but they've been struggling a little bit on the road. Or home, excuse me. Waterford, they're perfect on the road, but at home they're only 2-3. For the first time, Coach Sims is starting a freshman and playing two. Holden Daly and Grant McCutcheon stepped on the court and impressed from day one. Seniors Russell Young and Peyton Stevens have been leading the team and are a force in the paint. After starting the season with 4 wins, the Wildcats have been up and down, going 3-3 since. Waterford is currently in second place in the Hocking with Trimble at the top spot. However, South Galley is close behind and handed the Wildcats their latest loss, 56-54.
Now Waterford is looking to take back the Hocking from Trimble, so how are they going to do it?
Well, with only 3 seniors, the varsity lineup, the Wildcats have been depending on their young players, and they have done well so far. Waterford looks to keep on improving their young roster and make a mid-season push to be #1 when all is said and done. Wildcats have a big week with Trimble coming up on Friday, and that game can decide who will win the Hocking this season.
Well, it's a huge game indeed. Can't wait to see what happens. Thanks, Connor. Now it's time for the first edition of one of our favorite segments, Heroes of the Week. Our online hosts Jacob Murray and T. Willis are over in the paint, and they're going to tell us who stood out among the competition this week.
Paul, it is great to be back here in studio to highlight some of the best performances in our coverage. Our first 2 heroes have put up some video game-like stats over this past week.
And Jacob, not all heroes wear capes. This one just laces up his sneakers and lets his game handle the rest. Our first hero of the week is none other than the Megs Marauders' own Weston Bear. As a junior, Bear is the leader of this Meg squad, and one half of the Double Bs with senior Zach Bartram as his partner in crime. He's one of the best isolation players in our coverage, and right now he's torching the TVC Ohio. Bear put together a dazzling 30-point performance Tuesday against the Nelsonville York Buckeyes, and Friday he says, I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to get 31 against River Valley. One of my favorite things about this guy is his ball handling. You watch the highlights and you can see him using this deadly hesitation move. He freezes his defender, and from there he can change his shot, change his direction, change his speed. He can get whatever he wants to get on the court. And I can talk about this kid's ball handling all night long, but his outside shot continues to improve. Bear went 6 of 7 from deep against the Buckeyes and 7 of 8 against the River Valley Raiders. He's not afraid to pull up in the face of the defense, and he's always cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, and hitting shots with defenders in your face is something our ladies hero of the week does all the time. Vinton County's Morgan Bentley did something a high school basketball player rarely ever does, posting the infamous triple-double in her team's 80-39 victory over Wheelersburg. Bentley had a stat line of 17 points, 13 rebounds, and 12 assists. Though she started out this season as the team's starting small forward, an injury to starting point guard Mariah Davis has allowed Bentley to take control of the offensive game plan drawn up by Coach Rod Bentley. Her strength down low helps her get a ton of rebounds, and her court vision helps her find her teammates in the best possible positions to score, helping the high-powered Lady Vikings offense to flow smoothly. She was also getting buckets as she hits threes even with defenders right in her face, and she was using this spin move like it was out of a video game, getting easy layups almost every time. Bentley's dynamic game has Vinton County undefeated at this point in the season, and with her controlling the offense, this team seems like a lock to finish atop the TVC Ohio standings.
Now, you know we had to start this season and the new year off with a bang, and how about that? Both of our heroes this week coming out of the TVC Ohio.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see both heroes coming out of the same conference to start the year. Thanks for the great work, guys. Now, Michael Jordan once said, "I never lost a game, I just ran out of time." And sadly, folks, we've run out of time for episode 1. We'll be back next week, but I'm reminding you to be heroic.